This is my cheat sheet for Thursday, January the 26th. Alright, as it's Fast and Furious, and this has nothing to do with like an ATF program, has everything to do with Republican presidential candidates. Look for a momentum shift. We are already starting to see it in the Florida polls. Romney pulling back in there. We'll take a complete look at everything that's going on tomorrow. Big day for me tomorrow as well. Spend some QT with Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich. Meanwhile, let's get to what I've got for today. Decoding Ben Bernanke and the Fed. Alright, so this is not always the easiest thing, but here's really what you can look for in a nutshell. A lot of what we saw last year for at least the next 2 years. In essence, you're on your own. Ben Bernanke, in so many words, said, hey, really, we have no bullets left. And if we do, our bullets, printing more money. And you know what happens when the Fed prints more money? The dollar in your pocket becomes worth less. Which means, not worthless, but worth less. Over the course of time, those two could, marry. But that means that higher food, higher energy costs, more on that in a moment, are all likely to come if the Fed does anything. In the meantime, don't plan on interest rates rising. That's good if you're borrowing, bad if you're saving, especially in fixed income. So, here's the first thing. If you need yield, you cannot go anywhere near CDs, money markets, count on any of that for at least the next 2 years, and likely much longer than that. We're also looking at extraordinarily high unemployment for at least the next 2 years still. We're looking for a slow slug through the foreclosure mess for at least the next 2 years still. Alright, so basically a lot of what we saw last year is a lot of what the Federal Reserve is expecting. For your planning purposes, it's helpful because let's say that you do want to borrow money, maybe buy a house, buy a car or something. You don't have to feel like you need to rush out there right now because we're at record low interest rates. While they are volatile, even without the Fed moving, you know that when the Fed's not going to raise interest rates at their level for at least 2 years, you don't need to be in any hurry either, but yield is still going to be hard to come by for fixed income investors. All right, let's take a look at Google Alerts real quick. This is kind of a cool feature. Google struck a deal with several emergency management agencies from the government yesterday. Everybody from NOAA, the National Weather Service. And what this will mean is on Google Maps, let's say you're using it for GPS purposes or just looking up a place. If there is an alert in that area, let's say there's, in hurricane season, a hurricane watch or warning or a tornado watch or warning, when you pull that place up on the map, it'll pull up a little button that'll say, hey, there's an alert on this place. So click that, it'll give you all the detailed information about it right there. So you don't have to go to a separate site to get information when you're using your GPS with Google Maps. Pretty cool. All right, so things that are rising in price right now. This is something that I shadowed at the talk about the economy. We are seeing airfare rise an average of 5% already in 2012. Food, which rose 6% last year. 6% last year. That's why I say inflation is real, even when the government tells you it isn't. Is already up about another 2% this year. You know your grocery bill's been rising again. And shipping up 5% already this year. Now, what does that have in common? Gas, right? Fuel, energy. Airfare, think fuel. Food, think fuel to produce, to cultivate, and to get it to market. And shipping, well, yeah, fuel. It all gets back to the record high gas prices we're paying right now. You think this whole energy argument and everything that's going on in Washington right now isn't a big deal? It's a huge freaking deal, and you're paying a heck of a lot more right now for all of these things, and every time you go to the pump, obviously, all because of where we are in the energy cycle right now, and the fact that we are paying record high prices for gas in January. We set a record every day in January for record high fuel prices, and we're seeing it hit us everywhere. Here's one tip to save money, on airfare anyway. This comes from our friends at Consumer Reports. You use these tips, you will theoretically get the single best price you can. Number one, look beyond the discounters. A lot of people think that, hey, I need cheap airfare, I go to a discounted airline. No, in a lot of cases, the discounters aren't even cheaper than the traditional guys. So look everywhere before you book. Best time to book, 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Not 3 a.m., not 3 p.m. Wednesday. 3 p.m. Tuesday. You get the single best price on average. Avoid weekends. Book your flight 6 p.m. or later. And here's another thing. Even if you're flying with a family, if you're not married to sitting by who you're married to, for example, that can help save you a lot of money. If it really is a value proposition, look at booking individual seats on a flight, even if you have your family flying. I wouldn't leave the little ones on their own, but that can help save you, in some cases, hundreds of dollars because there might just be an odd seat sitting somewhere that will be a lot cheaper for you. That is the cheat sheet for today. We shall see you tomorrow.